Hello, Satnam. It's me, Shakti Sundari, back with you today for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras by Lauren Roche. Had to wait for the right moment today because I woke up feeling depressed and sad and once again feeling the loss of my beloved and shadow beliefs that keep me limited. So just feeling all the limited beliefs that I have about myself and questioning what went wrong and how did I create it. All those processes that I find necessary. Well, the questioning is necessary, maybe not the self-judgment, but this is part of my process today. And at the same time, I've been casting my thoughts forward into the future and beginning to reimagine my new future now that the original plan has changed. So there's been the looking forward, the casting forward, there's been the letting go of what is past, feeling where I am between those two, still attached to the past, not quite fully released from the past and not fully yet stepping clearly into the future, but beginning to see it on the horizon. And another thing that I just noticed, which is just a good thing to reflect, which was I was writing in my journal how I really, really need to be somewhere living in the sun, and how I envisage a life for myself where I'm traveling and constantly working and teaching and filming in sunny places. And of course, what I failed to notice is that as I'm sitting indoors by myself writing this in my journal, it's actually a beautiful sunny day outside. So sometimes, when I get caught in that looking in and sort of seeing the bleakness, I forget to look out and see the beauty that's around me, and that my desires are already being met in some way, and give gratitude for that. So that's just a reflection. And the other thing that actually pertains to, maybe I'll speak to the other thing as I read from today's verse. Yeah. So Yukti verse 82 is today's Yukti, and I'm going to have to bring the book really close because I haven't got my contact lenses in, so I'm pretty blind. Here's the Sanskrit. Gatadau yatcha vijnanam ichad yam vamama antare na eva sarvagatam jatam bhavayan iti sarvaga. And again, just like to repeat it each time. Gatadau yatcha vijnanam ichad yam vamama antare na eva sarvagatam Jatam Vavayan Iti Sarvaga. And there is the beautiful Sanskrit. And then coming on to the translation. Trees have desires, rocks have knowledge, jugs are full of emptiness and joy. All embodied ones have this in common. All are propelled by the same one, whose pulse beats in your breast. Shed insularity. Be all-pervasive, delighting in kinship everywhere. So I'm going to work backwards through this because the last verse, paragraph, stanza touches on what I'm bursting to say. So this morning, as I say, I woke up feeling the loss, feeling the pain, feeling the sadness, feeling the self-doubt, feeling the lack in my being. Not only that, other things too, but that was kind of the dominant factor. And I'm on my own. I work from home, and generally speaking, I love my own company. I love being by myself. A lot of the time, I love being with me, but also I'm alone a lot. And at the moment, sometimes perhaps that's not a good thing. And so I thought, oh gosh, can I reach out to someone when I'm feeling like this? Is it okay? Even though I've received so much love and so many beautiful messages of support in public and in private from people, you know, just so much love has come my way. So beautiful. And yet still I had this, is it okay for me to reach out to somebody, to call somebody, to say, actually, I need to talk. Is that okay? And so I reached out to 2 friends, and one of them got right back to me straight away. And it was so good to talk, and it was so good to cry, and it was so good to have the reflection of another soul. And that led on to, you know, an offer of even more holding and loving. So by reaching out in my vulnerability and in my need, I received so much love and healing and perspective. It was just amazing. It kind of it pivoted my day into a different axis. You know, I'm still feeling some of the things that I was feeling, but there's also a lighter, more lightness in my being, and there's also a remembering that I'm not alone, and a sense of connection. And then I went on to watch a video about star seeds, and then I remembered I'm a star seed, and I'm part of this multiverse, you know, so suddenly everything's expanded out again. And as this translation says, shed insularity, be all pervasive, delighting in kinship everywhere. And in this verse, actually, the kinship goes beyond humans. It extends into everything, everything that is manifest in the universe. So the carpet I'm sitting on, the cushion I'm sitting on, the sky outside, the trees outside, the picture I'm looking at, the things on my altar, you know, you can actually, even the flowers that I'm looking at that have a beautiful scent, beautiful pink orchids. Are they orchids? No, they're lilies, and they smell delicious, and they're pink and beautiful. So I buy myself these. So I'm in kinship with these things too. And coming back, though, to the human, spiritual, energetic level, I remember a dear friend of mine, Andre, saying to me quite a few years ago, he's a a long-term seasoned meditation practitioner, so he's awake and in touch, how he would walk down busy streets and be able to feel the essence of all the people that he was walking past. And at the time, I didn't quite get what he meant, or what I was often experiencing was that the energies of other people were too intense, or what I felt as energies I didn't want to be close to. I felt them as negative, giving them that label, or just energies that my energy wanted to move away from, not close to. There was, I guess, this sensory awareness that I had that meant that I really had to be careful how much other energy I expose myself to, because I'm very sensitive. And that is still the case, actually, you know, so I still use that inner guidance system and that sensorial system for knowing where I want to go towards and when I want to come back, and where I need to hold myself and where I'm okay to be. But at a deeper level, beyond insularity, there is kinship everywhere. And I think this is a dilemma for me, and maybe for a lot of people on the spiritual path, which is, you know, this paradox between we are all one and there is only love, and we are all the essence of the divine, and yet then having experiences as the infinite beings that we are, where it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel comfortable, it doesn't feel like love. We feel so different to the other. There's conflict, there's pain, you know, there's argument, there's, you know, it doesn't feel like love, let's just put it that way. And we want to pull ourselves away from a situation because we don't feel safe. So how do we balance those two different experiences? You know, I know both of those experiences as true in my own being. How do we navigate life as an individual who does have individual responsibilities You know, I've got 2 kids to take care of, a home to take care of, have responsibilities to my parents and so on. At the same time, you know, I might meet someone who really triggers the heck out of me. How do I at that point then remember that we're all one? Or when so many demands may be being placed on me that I have to actually say no. And I guess it always comes back to beginning from love and not from fear. At least that's one of my answers. So yeah, trees have desires, rocks have knowledge, jugs are full of emptiness and joy. It just expands our awareness, doesn't it, to go out in our thinking and conceive of the whole universe as alive with consciousness, as alive with intelligence. All these everyday things that are around us constantly that we take for granted and we overlook and deaden ourselves to, in a way. But how we expand our awareness when we begin to see everything as alive with intelligence. All embodied ones have this in common. So everything that is manifest, all are propelled by the same one, capital O. So one, that can be meaning the divine, God, goddess, creator, source, love, whatever word, description, definition, and experience you want to attach to that, whose pulse beats in your breast. So all are propelled by the same one whose pulse beats in your breast. And actually this touches on something. I was just listening to this transmission on starseeds, and the question is, those who identify as starseeds are those who are on the path of awakening, and are they then better, superior, somehow more good than those who are not awakened, who do not recognize themselves as starseeds? And of course the answer is no. There's no better. We are all one, but we do have different realizations at different times in our lives and our timelines. And it may well be that some people never have that insight or realization in this time, in this lifetime. But that doesn't mean that they are less than. And at the same time, just through resonance and frequency, we will end up being with those who are with whom we resonate. So it's more likely that if you identify as a person on the path of awakening, that you'll be hanging out with people who are on the same frequency. And so those who are not on that frequency may not be so much in your environment, just because it will naturally not fit. It will naturally not fit and attract. In fact, as the person speaking in this transmission was saying, those who are not on the same path just won't hear the same message. They just won't synchronistically come across the same messages. So that's just how it is. But ultimately, we're all one, and we're all on this path of awakening. I feel like I've gone a bit woo-woo today, but hey. So today's invitation is shed insularity, be all-pervasive, delighting in kinship everywhere. And just remembering that that doesn't necessarily have to mean being with other human beings. That can be meaning the kinship with beings from other dimensions, with the sofa you're sitting on, with the book that you're holding, with the cup of tea that you're drinking. It just kind of expands your mind out. Great. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for being with me, and join me again tomorrow for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras. Sat Nam.